guy. So there was a guy that, after many years of struggling to play the accordion, decided he was going to give it up. So he decides he's going to park his car on a busy street in a big town and leave the doors unlocked. He decides to go shopping, and he's envisioning that somebody's going to open the door and take the accordion out. He gets back to his car, and he sees the window is smashed, and a second accordion is on the seat next to his. He doesn't quite have the law of giving and receiving down. Not exactly what he was expecting. When I said in our board meeting last month that I was going to talk about giving this week, about money, I didn't realize how much uncomfortableness would come out of me, how much fear would come about talking about this subject. And it's not so much about talking about money, it's not so much my fear of lack as it is about talking about money with all of you. It's about how we all get triggered about money. But if we want to live out loud, which is our theme this year, if we want to live out loud, we have to look at those triggers. We have to be willing to look at them. We have to be willing to learn from them. We have to be willing to transform them and then release them. And money is a way that is something that we need to look at, and how we spend our money and how we give our money and how we share our money or not. And that is truly a spiritual path. Doesn't feel like it sometimes when we talk about money, but I did some research. I love doing research. At the beginning of the 21st century, 2/3 of Americans were giving to nonprofits and charitable organizations. And though the dollars amount have grown since then in the last 23 years, today the number of givers has decreased to less than half. Americans in 2022 gave almost $500 billion, but that is down from the year before by 3.4%, or if you adjust it for inflation, it's 10.5% less. A time when many nonprofits are really hurting and need help, needing more resources. There's a lot of speculation on why this is occurring, why 20 million people aren't giving anymore at all, but no real answers. But I think it's really important to talk about giving and the impact it has on our lives. I went back to the Book of Joy. We did a talk series on it back in 2018. And the Book of Joy was the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu. And they talk about the 8 pillars of joy, 8 qualities that we can cultivate in ourselves to bring more joy. And the last one they talked about was generosity. That generosity, probably more than any of the other pillars, was what, if we cultivate a spirit of generosity, would bring us the most joy. It's probably the most important quality we can cultivate to bring us happiness. That being generous with our gifts, our financial resources, our time, our talent, our money is something that brings us joy, because as we practice generosity, we're also practicing all the other pillars of joy. We have a wider perspective, we have humility, we have a sense of humor. We don't take ourselves so seriously when we're giving. We have an acceptance of life, a forgiveness of others, a gratitude for all we've been given, and a sense of compassion. This is what generosity does for us. It's a wise selfish. That we realize that the more we give, the more we receive, the more joy we receive as a result of our giving. And as we give, it's really also good for our health and for our longevity and for our well-being. Generosity is one of the 4 fundamental brain circuits that map with our long-term well-being. It's associated with better health and life expectancy. People experience greater happiness when they're buying things for others than they do when they're buying things for themselves. You ever notice that? Is it true for you? Feel happier buying things for other people. It's something that we learn to do, learn to have a generous spirit by doing, proving that money does buy happiness when we're buying for other people. It's so important for our survival that the reward centers of our brain light up even more strongly than when we're buying things for ourselves. Dennis Merritt Jones is a Center for Spiritual Living minister, and he writes this in his book, The Art of Abundance. Learning how to fully be in the flow is a lifestyle that creates affluence in our lives. And it is a practice that begins by fully embracing the paradox found in the law of circulation. So the law of circulation is this: we have to give in order to receive, that we have to create, we have to be in this flow of giving and receiving and giving and receiving. And the more we give, the more of a vacuum we create so that more good can flow to us. It's really hard to wrap our arms around this if we're in a lack frame of mind. It's really hard to get that we have to give something in order to receive more. Desmond Tutu says in the Book of Joy, God is not very good at math. When you give, it seems like you're subtracting from yourself, but you actually get more. You actually receive more because you've created more space for your good to come. As we give, we receive more. It's an easy idea to grasp if we think about happiness or joy or love, and we realize that in order to feel loved, we have to give love. In order to feel happy, we make others happy. We want to be more joyful, we help others feel more joyful. And that makes a whole lot of sense to us until we say, and the same is true with money. And there's where all the problems start. We've been struggling with this for years as humans. This idea of creating a vacuum with our money. But you think about it, the universe needs us to demonstrate that we're capable of more. By giving, by releasing, knowing that something better is flowing to us. It takes faith, a lot of faith sometimes. It takes practice. It takes doing it. And if you have a fear of lack, it's not going to make any sense to you whatsoever. None. Because when we're afraid that we don't have enough, we cling and we hoard and we hold on. Look at our bedroom closets as an example. Well, this might come back in style. I might be able to fit into that if I lose a little weight or gain a little weight or whatever the case is. We hang on to things knowing that we no longer need those. The universe says if you hang on to stuff, if you hoard stuff, if you cling to stuff, you're going to get exactly that. No more. It says in the Gospel according to Mark, chapter 4, verse 24 and 25, the measure you give will be the measure you get, and still more will be given you. For to those who have, more will be given, and from those who have nothing, even what they have will be taken away. Think about that. As we give, we receive. It's all about the mindset. That the more we give, the more we will receive. And if we don't, for those who have nothing, who have a consciousness, a mindset of, I don't have anything, I don't have enough, even that will go away. Dennis Merritt explains it this way: your standard of measure is the depth of your consciousness. It is done unto you exactly according to your deepest belief. If you believe we live in an abundant world, you will experience abundance. If you believe we live in a world of there's not enough, guess what? The universe is going to prove you right. There's not enough. Do you want more smiles, more hugs, more compassion, more respect? Give it. Give it. And then you receive it. You receive more. And don't worry about who does it first. I get in that cycle when I'm running sometimes, like, well, nobody says hi to me first. It doesn't matter. It's not a chicken or the egg thing. If you're aware of it, if you're awake, if you want to have more hellos and highs and smiles, give it. Just give it. If you want to have more money, give it. It all works the same. But our relationship with money is probably the most triggering thing that we experience in our humanity. Nothing else has that much energy wrapped around it like money does. Money has no value in and of itself, whether it's paper or metal or digital, but it's the energy behind it. It's the symbol of the energy that's behind the money that needs to be utilized, use it wisely, and then set it free. Discern what your beliefs are about money, and then look at your life. Usually they're pretty closely aligned. But you can change your relationship to money. In 2005, I took my first prosperity class. It was called 4T. It was by Stretton Smith, and some of you probably have heard of it and done the class. It was an audio that you listened to, and that was my first experience with tithing. I remember being in the Catholic Church, and they would talk about tithing, and I would think, 10%? No way. 1%. That's all they're getting from me, 1%. And then I took this class, and they talked about 10%. Tithing, a tithe is 10%. And so I started tithing in 2005 with this class. It was at a Unity Center in Detroit. And I kept tithing after the class stopped, and I got a new job, and I saw some things in my life start to change. And then the money just wasn't flowing. And so I looked everywhere I could to find a Unity minister that would say, you don't have to, you can tithe 1% or 5%. I tried everything I could to look and try to find somebody that would say, nope, you don't have to do that. And there wasn't anyone. And so I took the 4T class again and started tithing 10% again. And never stopped. I have never stopped tithing since then. My life has changed. It's been a constant flow. It doesn't mean that there aren't challenges. Certainly there are in our human experience always. But what tithing does, it's not a law. And please don't take it as I'm trying to guilt you into tithing. It's not the case at all. But it's a practice that helps you get in the flow of giving and receiving, getting into that flow. And it's a beautiful practice that can free you from, and 10% is just enough. No matter how much money you make, 10% is just enough to just, you feel do I really want it? And we're asked to give it joyfully. Joyfully. It didn't come joyfully to me in the beginning. I was a single mom. I had savings, but I was not making enough out of my income when I first started. I get it. It's a scary thing. It's a hard thing. But you can change your relationship with money by giving. It doesn't even seem possible, does it? if you're not in that practice already. In Fortune magazine, I found an article, just came out, that 45% of people don't donate because they said they haven't been asked. I'm asking. Unapologetically. Unapologetically. People say they love our grounds here, they love our center, they love our building, they love our children's program, they love our fellowship, being able to connect, they love our coffee, I've heard, our concerts, our ongoing groups, our opportunities to connect with each other. It all costs money. It all costs money. And I'm telling you this not to guilt you. We have a $550,000 budget every year. We have 2 mortgages on the property that total just over $900,000. We have staff salaries to pay. We have utilities to pay. We have lots of building repairs. We have office supplies. We pay our musicians, our sound, our live stream. We have a lot of expenses. And this is just for your own knowledge, for your own awareness, because if you don't come to our annual meeting, you don't know this. You don't know these numbers. And we don't have some mothership beaming money down to us. Unity Worldwide Ministries is our association, is where our headquarters are, Unity World Headquarters and Unity Worldwide Ministries. We pay them. They don't pay us. Everything we do here is a result of the donations that we get. And we have some very generous donors, and we're so grateful. So grateful. And if this is your spiritual home and you consider this your community, and that's what we're building here, and you haven't been giving, no shame. But maybe you want to consider starting. Maybe you want to consider getting into that flow. If this is a community that I love, this is where my children come and feel loved and nurtured downstairs while we're up here. This is a place where I connect with other people and make friends. This is a place where I grow in my spiritual awareness. Can you help us by supporting us? We're down $24,000 in love offerings from last year, the end of June, with more people in the building. So that means we're getting less per person. So why give here at Columbine? Why give here? Why give here? If you've paid attention to our purpose statement that we read just before our announcements every Sunday, we want to positively impact the world. That's one of our purposes for being here. And how do we do that? Well, every donation that you bring in goes to helping our youth, into feeding the homeless with Feet Forward, into Colorado Feeding Kids, into Sister Carmen, into this year we joined the NAACP and are sponsoring them. Everything we do here is to try to expand and share with the greater community and making a positive difference in the world, making an impact. And growing our own selves, growing into spiritual awareness. Maybe some of you have asked, what does that mean? We commit to increasing our spiritual awareness. We cannot be more spiritual than we are. We are spiritual beings. But we grow into awareness of it. We grow that. That is what we're looking to increase, our awareness of it. Our ability to stay awake to it can make such a huge difference. And the more we do that, the more we raise the vibrational frequency and we change the planet. We change the race consciousness. And that's what giving can do for us. Giving here. And we're grateful, so grateful. Prosperity Plus is a program that we're offering that starts on Wednesday, and I'm not trying to plug the class, but it's changed my life completely when I took it for the first time in 2011. And it continues to change my life every time I facilitated here a number of years. And its premise is the flow of life, the law of circulation, of giving and receiving, of creating a vision for yourself of your life, of what you would love your life to look at, and giving of your time and talent and treasure in order to get yourself in that flow and to create a practice of it. We have a video of one of our voting members. You'll probably recognize her. She's also on our board of trustees. And this is what she says about Prosperity Plus.
Hey Columbine, it's Melanie Piazza. First of all, I'm so sorry I'm not there live as I had hoped to be, but I will tell you why at the end of this, because it is apropos to what I'm about to talk about. I wanted to share with you my experience with taking Prosperity Plus here at Columbine. I have taken it, I believe, 4 times. The first being in February of 2018, and it literally transformed my life in many ways, but I'll give you the biggest example, which some of you already know. In that time frame, February of 2018, I was in a really stuck place. I was still a new mother, didn't have a whole lot of community in this area yet. We had moved just a few years prior. And I was just in this place of feeling really alone as a parent. And through the class, which you spend a good amount of time at the beginning visioning what you would love your life to look like. And I kept envisioning a place that I could be myself, that I could be surrounded with other parents who were in the throes of struggle, and specifically where I wouldn't need to be in charge of my children. And as time went on through the course, specifics started to come to mind. And one of the really valuable things about what you learn in Prosperity Plus is how to not just have a vision for what you want your life to look like in whatever aspects you're focusing on, but then how to take steps to get there. So it's not about just sitting and imagining a beautiful life and ending there. It's acting as if you are already on your way or already in the place of having that be what your life looks like. And so it's really much easier to find some minor steps, sometimes major steps, to bring that vision to fruition. So during the course of the class, this vision became much clearer. I knew that I wanted to build a business that would be really cooperatively run by parents like myself, and that would involve, again, some form of parent care, which could look like sitting in a corner and taking a nap, reading a book, working on a business, but also an aspect of childcare. And again, February 2018 is when the vision came. June of 2018, the vision was born and the space was open in Longmont, Colorado. So it's since been 5 years. It's been the most magical experience because this was a time where I really took a vision that came to me from, I believe, my own longings, but also from above. And it came to reality even without a lot of logical reasons why it should work. I didn't follow standard business protocol for starting a business. I had no experience. We didn't even build a business plan, but still the business came alive, and it's gone through lots of ups and downs since then, but it is thriving. And the thing that stuck with me the most, aside from the creation of this business in the first place, is that from the practice of Prosperity Plus, where visioning the way you would love your life to look, it almost at first is it's almost like imagining something that isn't possible, but you do it anyways. You keep saying the words, I imagine my life to be this, or I am living this life, I am this person, I have these things, I'm having these experiences, and it doesn't feel real. And then suddenly there's a point where it feels so real that you don't have any choice but to keep imagining that. And that is what's happened with me in this business. I've always envisioned, once we were opened, that this would be something that would grow. It wouldn't be about one location. It would be about serving parents in all types of communities, because we're all very aware that there's a real challenge for parents these days, that we live in such an isolated way. which is not natural, is not innate the way that we are raising children in our little isolated pods of families. So that's always been the vision, is for this to grow. And it's not just remained a vision, it's remained a truth for me. That it's not just something that I hope will happen, but it will, because I can see it, I can picture it in my mind. And I've been behaving, therefore, as if it's happening. And today I'm not with you live because I am in Denver, presenting the opening of Family Village Denver at the Unity Spiritual Center of Denver. It is super exciting and shocking that we're at this point, but also it's been inevitable because it's been in my vision for 5 years now. And this is just the beginning. So this class brought me such a sense of knowing that the universe has my back, that anything that comes into my mind that is truthful and it's not full of ego, anything that I can envision is actually meant for me, that the universe has decided it for me. It's going to happen as long as I take the steps that are necessary to make it happen. It's inevitable. So it's truly changed my life, and I live with such ease because of it. Not that I don't have struggle, not that I don't have challenge, but I live with this sense of it's all here for me, and the vision that I have for the life that I want for myself and for my family. And then beyond that, for the whole world, is not just possible, but it's happening, and it's beginning now. So I just encourage everybody to give this class a try. It is really inspiring in the lessons that are taught, but it's also a bonding experience for congregants to get to know each other better and learn what each other's visions are, and help when that beginning stage feels awkward and it feels like this vision isn't possible for me. It really helps to have a group of people around you reminding you that it is possible, and it is going to happen for you too. So again, I'm sorry that I can't be there, but I am wishing you all beautiful visions and a beautiful experience in Prosperity Plus coming up in just a week. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
So that business that she talked about is Family Village, which started in Longmont, and then the pandemic, their facility got closed, and she opened it downstairs here in 2021, I think, 2021. So we are, if any of you are from Family Village or have attended Family Village or helped watch kids with Family Village, we are so grateful to have, when we're here during the week, to have children here in the building, to have parents, to have the building being used as it was intended to create community, and it's beautiful. And Melanie didn't say this in her video, but she told me that when she said this ease, it was about getting into the flow of life. That tithing at first felt restrictive, but now it feels lovely. And we can change that relationship with money that we have. We can change that. So look at your own life, and where are you? Where is your relationship with money? How does that look? Where are you with giving and receiving? Do you want something different? Are you in the flow or are you stuck? It's all up to you. We get to change it with our thoughts and with our actions and with our giving. Don't do the math, but the more you give, the more you receive. Namaste. Peace be with you.